we've had some really positive responses from last week's ChatGPT interview, with the content being provided by the synthetic voice of ChatGPT. The twist. This is the same episode, but this time, a human reads what the ChatGPT script said. Especially great thanks to the audio description performer Rebecca Davis for contributing her voice. Here we go. All right, ChatGPT, what I'd like to do is start by asking you what you love about audio description.
What I love most about audio description is how it transforms the viewing experience for blind and low vision audiences. It's not just about filling in the gaps. It's about bringing the story to life in a way that's vivid, inclusive, and emotionally engaging. It allows everyone to share in the magic of storytelling, creating a more connected and immersive experience for all viewers. It's this power of connection and inclusion that makes audio description truly special.
Yeah, that's pretty aligned with a lot of the things that I've been sharing on my website, on this podcast, and in my books. So curious how you came to that conclusion. I see audio description in general being this very accessibility only focused, and I've really enjoyed diving into the intricacies of how what we do in audio description really gives that emotional connection to the audience and why that's so important.
I came to that conclusion by seeing firsthand how audio description isn't just about accessibility. It's about enriching the storytelling experience. The emotional connection it fosters is a game changer, allowing people who are blind or have low vision to experience the same depth of emotion, tension, and joy as sighted audiences. It bridges gaps in understanding and makes storytelling more inclusive. Your work really highlights how crucial that emotional layer is, and it's something I've come to appreciate deeply as well.
Let's talk about some contrast. In other words, your explanation of the emotional connection and its importance to blind audiences is really clear. What might be some opposing viewpoints to that?
One opposing viewpoint might argue that audio description is purely functional, just a way to provide basic information about visual elements. They might see it as a straightforward tool rather than an art form, and therefore place less emphasis on the emotional nuance. Another perspective could be that the focus should remain on the primary narrative and that adding emotional layers might risk overshadowing the content or altering the creator's intent. There's also a practical angle, where some might argue that emotional nuances are subjective and could differ from what each viewer imagines, thus complicating the standardization of audio description.
Yeah, let's address that last one first, the subjectivity. In other words, we've got movies that are subjective. Some people might love them, some people might hate them. Isn't there a nice parallel there to audio description and that emotional nuance?
Oh, absolutely. There's a strong parallel. Just like films evoke different emotions and interpretations from viewers, audio description can and should reflect that same richness. The goal isn't to impose a singular interpretation, but to enhance the storytelling so that blind audiences can engage with it on an emotional level, just like sighted audiences do. Embracing the subjectivity can actually make the experience more authentic and engaging, offering a richer, more layered experience that mirrors the diversity of audience reactions.
Great. You made some other points too, in addition to that third one. I'd like to go back to one of the first ones where you mentioned the practicality of audio description when it comes to the art form versus the practicality. I don't remember exactly how you phrased that, but let's talk about why that would matter and why that could be a problem in the sense of describing audio description as an art form.
Sure. The tension between viewing audio description as a straightforward practical tool versus recognizing it as an art form can create some friction. If it's seen purely as a utilitarian service, the focus might stay on delivering minimal factual information. Essentially, a bare bones approach that ensures accessibility, but might lack the richness and engagement that comes from a more nuanced performance. On the other hand, treating audio description as an art form allows for creativity and emotional depth, which can significantly enhance the audience's experience. The challenge here is ensuring consistency and balancing the creative elements with the clarity and accuracy required for effective communication. Some might worry that leaning too much into the artistic side could introduce subjectivity that might not align with the original intent of the content creators, potentially leading to inconsistencies in how different audiences perceive the story.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. When it comes to that, what I'm calling the emotional nuance, that is the high wire act, that there is a way to have that high wire act in support of the story. Would you disagree or would you agree?
Oh, the emotional nuance is indeed a high wire act, where the goal is to enhance the story without overshadowing it. It's about striking that delicate balance, making sure the description supports and aligns with the narrative's intent while still delivering that deeper, more immersive experience. When done right, it elevates the entire viewing experience for blind audiences, adding a layer of engagement that purely factual description just can't achieve.
Thanks for saying that. And the other thing that I'm noticing is when you talk about the rich engagement, that is yet another form of accessibility. And without that, our audiences are left not having the same experience as sighted audiences. I've made that point a few times.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a crucial point. Rich engagement isn't just a nice to have, it's a vital aspect of true accessibility. Without that emotional depth, blind audiences miss out on the full immersive experience that sighted viewers enjoy. Ensuring that audio description captures those layers of emotion and nuance helps bridge the gap, making the content equally impactful and meaningful. It's about providing a holistic experience that respects and values every audience member equally.
Well, really well said. Let's go back to the other point, counterpoint that you made to that engagement of the art form versus the practicality of audio description in the sense of being bare bones.
Sure, the practicality argument tends to focus on delivering just the essential information, like who's doing what and where, so that blind audiences get the basic context. This approach ensures that the core information is conveyed clearly and efficiently, which is undeniably important. However, stopping there means missing out on the opportunity to create a richer experience. When we treat audio description as an art form, we layer in those emotional nuances and subtleties that make the viewing experience more immersive and emotionally engaging. It's not just about knowing what's happening on screen, it's about feeling it, which ultimately brings the experience closer to what sighted audiences enjoy.
Wonderfully said. What are some things that we as, let's start with voice actors in audio description can contribute? And then I'll ask you about audio description writers.
Voice actors in audio description bring a unique dimension to the experience. Their vocal performance can convey tone, mood, and subtle emotional cues that enhance the narrative by using their voice to reflect the atmosphere. Whether it's the tension in a thriller or the warmth in a heartfelt scene, they help immerse the audience in the story. Their delivery can highlight the pacing, the emotional highs and lows, and the subtle nuances that text alone can't fully capture. This makes the viewing experience more engaging and relatable.
Thank you. Now let's share about the audio description writer, please.
Oh, audio description writers play a pivotal role by crafting the script that voice actors bring to life. They have the challenging task of choosing which visual elements to describe and how to describe them in a way that's concise, clear, and engaging. Their choices shape how the story is perceived by blind audiences, ensuring that key details, character, expressions, and critical visual cues are effectively conveyed. A skilled writer not only provides the necessary information, but also captures the tone and intent of the original content, making their role essential in delivering a seamless and immersive experience.
Now let's talk about audio description engineering, both the placement of the timing of the audio description as well as the mix, how loud or soft it is, in connection to the original production.
Audio description engineering is critical for seamless integration into the original production. Proper placement of the timing ensures that the descriptions fit naturally into pauses in the dialogue or important sound cues, preventing overlap that could confuse or overwhelm the audience. It's a delicate balancing act to ensure that descriptions are inserted at just the right moments, so they enhance rather than interrupt the viewing experience. Mixing is equally important. The volume of the audio description needs to be carefully balanced with the original audio track. If the description is too loud, it can drown out important sound elements. If it's too soft, it might be hard to hear or follow. The goal is to create a harmonious blend where the description is clear and present, but never competes with the original soundtrack, ensuring a smooth and enjoyable experience for the audience.
Now let's talk about audio description quality control.
Quality control in audio description ensures that the final product meets high standards of accuracy, clarity, and consistency. It involves reviewing the audio description track to ensure that the descriptions are accurate, appropriately timed, and free from errors or awkward phrasing. 2C specialists also check for consistency in the tone and style of the narration, ensuring it aligns with the overall feel of the production. Moreover, quality control ensures that the descriptions are neither too sparse nor overly detailed, maintaining a balance that keeps the audience informed without overwhelming them. This step is crucial for delivering a polished, professional, and enjoyable final product that truly enhances the viewing experience for blind audiences.
One of the challenges that we have in audio description for film and TV is what I would consider a false comparison of having to choose between quantity and quality, as if both can't happen. In the understanding that you have of audio description, what is a great response to that question of, well, we can either have more or we can have better?
A strong response is that quantity and quality are not mutually exclusive. Investing in quality audio description from the start sets a higher standard that benefits everyone. When quality is prioritized, it leads to more meaningful and engaging content, which in turn can drive demand and funding for more projects. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about building a foundation where high-quality audio description becomes the norm, making it possible to scale up production without sacrificing the audience's experience. Quality sets the stage for sustainable growth, ensuring that more content can be produced without compromising on the richness and effectiveness of the description.
Great. One of the questions I like to ask all my guests is, what's an idealized version of what you would think of audio description to be in the future? What is your computerized dream of what great audio description for film and TV would look like?
In an ideal future, great audio description for film and TV would be fully integrated into the production process from the start, treated with the same importance as any other creative element. It would be crafted by skilled professionals, writers, voice actors, and engineers who collaborate closely with the original creative team to ensure the description matches the tone and intent of the work. The technology would be advanced enough to allow for seamless, high-fidelity mixing that preserves the original audio experience while making the description an organic part of it. Ultimately, audio description would be so ubiquitous and high quality that it becomes a natural, expected part of every viewing experience, ensuring that blind and low vision audiences have equal access to the richness of storytelling. It would be a field that attracts top talent and continuous innovation, setting a global standard for accessibility and inclusion in entertainment.
Follow-up question to that. You are a synthetic voice, and I'm curious about your opinion on having audio description with text-to-speech. And I'd like to make it very clear that in this interview, it's informational. There's no emotional content, there's no true story, there's no character development. It's just us talking. Could you give us a reason why synthetic voice in storytelling content for audio description may or may not work?
Certainly, synthetic voices can be useful for informational content like this, where the focus is on clarity and efficiency. However, in storytelling content, the human voice brings a level of emotional nuance, empathy, and connection that synthetic voices currently struggle to replicate. Human narrators can adjust their tone, pacing, and inflection to match the mood of a scene, which is crucial for delivering a rich, immersive experience. This emotional layer is what makes stories resonate deeply with audiences. While synthetic voices might serve a purpose in certain contexts, they often fall short in capturing the emotional depth needed for compelling storytelling.
Great. And let's peel back a little bit of the curtain for our audience. This specific ChatGPT that I'm speaking to right now has learned my own book, my own website, my own intent, and my own approach. So could you give us a little bit of nuance to what you're using to give this feedback as far as what you've been told from me?
Of course, the feedback I'm providing is informed by the extensive context you've shared with me about your work, your book, and your philosophy. On audio description, you emphasize the importance of emotional nuance, high-quality production, and the human element in creating truly immersive audio description. Your approach prioritizes connection, authenticity, and a high standard of quality, which shapes the way I frame these responses. Essentially, I'm drawing from your own principles and insights to articulate these nuanced perspectives, aligning with your vision of what makes audio description truly impactful.
Great. Now let's poke some holes in it.
Absolutely, let's do that. Examining potential gaps or challenges in this approach can help refine and strengthen the overall vision. What specific aspects would you like to scrutinize?
That's a great question. What would you like to start with? And what do you see as most impactful as far as countering this approach that I'm sharing?
A good starting point might be the scalability and cost factors. High-quality human-voiced audio description can be resource-intensive, making it a challenge to scale rapidly across a vast amount of content. This could lead to slower turnaround times and higher costs, which might not be feasible for all projects, especially smaller or independent productions. Another counterpoint could be the evolving quality of synthetic voices. As technology improves, synthetic voices might become more capable of delivering nuanced performances, potentially narrowing the gap with human narrators and offering a more cost-effective solution. These factors could influence how the industry balances quality with accessibility and cost efficiency.
Thanks for your candor. What would be your response to those two arguments?
So, scalability and cost. I'd emphasize that investing in quality from the outset can lead to better long-term outcomes. High-quality audio description can set a standard that attracts more viewers, potentially driving demand and funding, which can then be reinvested to scale production. It's about finding a balance, where quality drives growth and accessibility rather than compromising one for the other. Regarding the evolution of synthetic voices, I'd acknowledge their potential, but also stress that technology isn't yet at a point where it can fully replicate the emotional depth and subtlety of human narration. While synthetic voices may improve and have their place in certain contexts, the human element remains crucial for creating a truly engaging and emotionally resonant experience, especially in storytelling.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that we haven't covered yet?
I think we've covered a lot of ground. But one final thought might be about the importance of ongoing advocacy and education, ensuring that stakeholders across the industry understand the value and impact of high-quality audio description can help drive the changes needed to make it a standard practice. It's about fostering a culture where accessibility and excellence go hand in hand, ultimately enriching the viewing experience for everyone.
Thanks so much for joining us, ChatGPT.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's been a great conversation.
Hey, one more thing, ChatGPT. How would you summarize this episode if you were going to give a synopsis?
Sure. In this episode, we explored the multifaceted world of audio description. We discussed the importance of emotional nuance and high-quality narration in creating immersive experiences for blind audiences, the challenges of balancing quality with scalability, and the potential role of synthetic voices in the future. We also touched on the value of integrating audio description into the production process from the start, ensuring it becomes a standard, seamless part of storytelling overall. The conversation highlighted the importance of quality advocacy and innovation in making visual content truly accessible.